Growing up, I always wanted to build a lot of muscle, but I wanted to be lean. I wanted to have attractive facial features like a defined jawline, but I didn't want to be skinny and look feeble. Now, what winds up happening for a lot of people, including myself, is that we become stuck in this weird limbo. Skinny fat is one of these limbos. You're stuck in a weird purgatory where you have skinny arms, chest, and shoulders, and then just this pouch of fat on your lower belly, a bit like a kangaroo. And this is demotivating as hell. In this video, we'll go through how to bust through the skinny fat dilemma.
I've never seen a skinny guy. How can a fat guy be so skinny at the same time? It amuses me, bro.
You're caught in this dilemma thinking, should I lose this weight to get rid of this belly fat? And then you're like, if I start losing weight, I'm going to get even skinnier. If you focus on trying to eat more and build muscle, then am I just going to get fatter and fatter in the parts where I'm already fat? And you don't know whether to cut or whether to bulk. This is something that I am very, very familiar with. So today in this video, I'm going to make that all very clear for you and let you know exactly what you have to do. There's first of all two different kinds of fat. There's subcutaneous fat and there's visceral fat. Subcutaneous fat is what we all focus on, is what you can see in the mirror. It's like the fat that you can see and grab on your belly. Then there's visceral fat, which is slightly more dangerous, and that's the fat that surrounds your organs, like the fat you don't see inside. If you're skinny fat, it might not actually mean that your body fat is low. What do you need to do in terms of training? The most important thing that you have to do, build muscle. You want to get rid of as much of that fat as possible, but not by losing weight, by just purely focusing on building muscle. Now, how do you do that? You focus on gaining strength. You focus on 4 to 10 rep range when you go and do exercises in the gym, or you focus on 5 to 12 reps if you're doing bodyweight training, and you consistently try to make the exercise more difficult by adding weight or by increasing time under tension, all these variables that I talk about in all the other videos that are on this channel. And you're just focusing on, I want to get stronger, I want to build more muscle in the 4 to 8 rep range in the main compound movements. What this is going to do is it's going to make your body turn all the fat that you have, whether it's visceral fat or subcutaneous fat, you're going to start turning that into muscle. And this leads us on to the next thing. What should you do on the diet side? You want to be eating at a caloric surplus. You might be thinking, I'm skinny fat. If I eat at a caloric surplus, if I eat more to try and build muscle, I'm going to get fatter and fatter. You actually have to do this because right now, what you're optimizing for is muscle growth, and you don't want to keep any muscle gains on the table. So you want to eat at a caloric surplus. You want to try and eat more than 100 grams of protein each day. And you'll get to a point where the skinny fat parts of your body, they will start to even out, and you will actually build size and muscle. So you won't just look fat in just your belly, you'll look fat everywhere. No, I'm kidding. You'll look sort of evened out, and this will actually be very good for your strength gains. You'll get stronger very quickly, especially if you focus on the routines that are in the description. Very strength focused, muscle building focused workouts that aren't just like burning you out in a bodybuilding style. If you keep training like that and you eat around 200 to 400 calories above your maintenance caloric level, and you're consistently training 3 to 4 times a week, focusing on gaining strength on the important exercises in the gym, you will suddenly start to even out, and you won't look like this stick with a belly. You'll look more like just an average chubby with some shape kind of guy. The important thing that's being achieved is you are raising your maintenance caloric level. See, most people that don't know whether they should bulk or whether they should cut, they can go by this rule of, if your maintenance calories is less than 2300, I would say even 2400, then you should be bulking. What does that mean? Bulking is basically you are eating at a caloric surplus and you will be gaining weight. Cutting is when you're eating at a caloric deficit to lose weight. If you are trying to cut, you should be eating 300 to 400 calories less than your maintenance level. And if that number is less than 2000, it's very, very hard to sustain. I'm talking about guys, by the way. You have one nice meal and it's like 1200 or 900, 1000 calories, and you're like, whoa, I'm already more than halfway there to my daily caloric allowance. This is not enjoyable. So what do? You have to increase your maintenance calories so that even when you eat 300 minus your maintenance, you are above 2000. That is how you actually get lean with an enjoyable diet. So how do you increase your maintenance caloric level? You increase your muscle mass, because muscle burns more energy than fat just sustaining itself. A lot of my content has been about how to actually lose weight, how to get lean. But if you're someone that doesn't have a lot of muscle development and you try to get lean, not only are you risking muscle loss, you're actually going to be eating at a caloric deficit that is unsustainably low. So focus on increasing your maintenance calories until it's at least 2400. How to actually eat more for skinny guys, because a lot of skinny guys, right, I've never really been skinny, but my brother has been this skinny fat model for so much of his life, and he kept telling me the hardest thing is not even training. Like, I can go to the gym, I enjoy going to the gym, especially with minimalist training, like you look forward to it, that's easy, but the actual difficulty is in eating enough. And he got to a point where he was almost like trying to force feed himself, trying to eat when he's not even hungry, so that he would stay in the caloric surplus enough to build muscle. It's a very, very difficult process for some people. Eating a lot has never been a problem for me, but for a lot of people, eating enough or eating a lot is a big problem. What do you do in this situation? What you can do is opt for calorically dense foods. That's going to help you stack up those calories throughout the day. And you can even use things like bulking supplements, where you make a shake that's full of protein, but it's also like 500 calories, and you have one of that, and then you have some peanut butter with toast. Chocolate even is very good. Wine is very good. Obviously, don't go into the super dirty bulking side, because I don't believe really in eating unhealthy just to get enough calories, because what winds up happening then is that because the food is so intimately related to your mental well-being, like you'll start to feel really bad, you'll start to feel really cloggy, you'll really want fizzy drinks, and then that actually taps into just your general routine, your sleep patterns. You won't be motivated to work out. So when you opt for dirty bulking, you're actually inviting a lot of other demons and trading that for the extra calories, and so it's really not a good trade-off. Another thing you can do is simply measure your caloric intake. Once you start measuring it, it will be very clear how much you eat each day, and then you can see, oh, at this time I can probably eat a little more in this and this and this, and that's going to help you as well. When someone is overweight, when someone is binge eating, when someone is too skinny, on the surface it looks like, oh, you don't eat enough, or oh, you eat too much, but usually, very, very often, these are signs of deeper things that touch on one's relationship with food. This is a very deep point, and most of you will like click off or just go somewhere else now, but this is the real deep layer of change that everything else that's on the surface pales in comparison. A person that is overweight, it could be related to certain trauma that they had growing up, maybe to do with food, maybe to do with their relations with their parents or relations with their friends, instances of shame and guilt surrounding their body that made them relate to food in a certain way. Maybe they were bullied, they felt weak, they felt powerless, and the food is a way to put on size, to look more intimidating, to look less weak. How would this happen? It wouldn't happen like a conscious decision, right? Oh, I'm gonna get like super big and fat because like people picked on me, and like obviously you wouldn't do that. It's a very subconscious process. I'm not saying it's what happens all the time, but these are the kinds of things that you need to start thinking about as well. Also, it could be a sign of food as a substitute for the abandonment trauma that you went through as a kid, where you didn't actually get the care and the love and the attention of your primary caretakers, and you substitute that with this kind of obsessive relationship with food. And in the same way, we can talk about the skinny guy, his experiences and his traumas that may have been related to, enmeshment trauma or whatever it is. It can be some deeper layers of experience that are making this person relate to food in a certain way. Becoming aware of some of these things that you do in like deep work and shadow work, that's really what's gonna allow you to change your eating pattern in the long run. You want to focus on identity level change. Your identity, the way you see yourself, has to change. The way you identify yourself has to change. But most people that are skinny always have in their brain, I'm the skinny guy. And this manifests in your real life, in your eating habits and things like that. So obviously this isn't something that's so easy to deal with on a YouTube video. I'll go into a lot more of this kind of stuff in later videos as well. So if you're into that mindset stuff, some of the deeper contents related to body transformation, you know, hit the subscribe button. Whatever stage you're in, focus on what can I change, not just in my environment and in my behaviors, but in my beliefs. And after you work on some of that, think about what installed these beliefs in me, and you will find that it's experiences and maybe even trauma. And then this stuff is difficult to get to, but bringing awareness to some of this deep stuff is really what's going to bring you lasting change. And if you want someone to help you, you know, go through this transformation, not just in terms of the surface level training and the best diet strategies to make it sustainable, but also like the deep mindset stuff that will help you bring awareness to how you identify yourself and letting go of some of that, my coaching program, which I'll link below, goes into all of that in a lot of depth. If you're someone that knows about this stuff, you know how important it is, right? So please don't just focus on like, what's the routine, like what's your diet strategy, man? Think like, what is your mindset, Wanhee? Why are you able to sustain that body long term? Why are you effortlessly doing that without trying so hard and getting all like psyched out about self-discipline? That's the important question. Remember, when the question is wrong, the quest will fail. You gotta ask the right questions, not just to me, to yourself. Hey, I hope that helped, guys. See you in the next video.